Hey, yo, what up, Azteca Podcast? You already know who it is. It's one half of the sexiest Puerto Rican studs on this planet, Ortiz, baby. And shout out to all the Bodega Podcast listeners. Ow.
Yo, this is the Lucha Thug, the one-man Lucha gang, El Rey Gordo himself, the King Fat Boy Papo Esco, and y'all rocking with the Urban Wrestling Network.
It's your boy, the young GOAT, one half of Injustice, Hot Fire Myron Reed, and you're listening to Urban Wrestling Network. Gang.
This is Josef Samael from Contra Unit, and you're watching the Urban Wrestling Network.
What's good? It's Tristan Ty, a.k.a. Ikuro Kwon. You're watching Urban Wrestling Network. Hail Contra!
What's up? It's Judge in the building. And make sure you guys check out Urban Wrestling Network. The boys gonna be on there chopping it up. You already know, Street Fighter.
Oh, it is, man. It's like Boogie, South Philly. What up? Catch me on the Urban Wrestling Network real soon. Be on the lookout for that podcast, bro.
Yes.
MLW, all that. N.W.A, all that. I'm everywhere. Fuck out of here.
Hey, you guys. This is Christi Jaynes, and you're listening to the Urban Wrestling Network.
Flying about 51-inch vertical leap. That dude know he got a 5-inch vertical leap.
I
Puerto
agree,
Ricans
especially nowadays.
You know what?
Man.
All that in there because this guy's the ultimate hater. Ladies and gentlemen,
Whatever.
it's the Major League Podcast on the Urban Wrestling Network. I'm here with the GOAT, the Michael Jordan of hate himself, Evil Once. Evil Once, how are you doing? Did he
What's
get
up, everyone? Is your boy. Everybody just froze. I just kept looking at you guys going like, I don't know what happened. But it's your boy, your quintessential Puerto Rican muffin, Jorge. We're here. And yet I'm hating on the chef because he says that he has a 51-inch vertical. That boy's Puerto Rican. He cannot leap more than 5 inches off the ground. I don't care what he says. 51 inches my butt. Anyways, another awesome show last night, man. Muertes against the Kevin Costner of wrestling, Richard Holiday. He got screwed. I don't care what anybody said. He got screwed out of the title belt. He got screwed out of that title belt.
Whoa!
Whatever. He got screwed out of the title belt.
Whoa!
To my homie.
Glad you came for the podcast. We're out of here.
Whatever, man. Get
Basically,
my boy from Dynasty right there, man.
basically the whole
Go
show.
ahead,
It's what do I say to that? What do I say to that? You basically just told the main event how it was, and then
Hold on.
He got robbed. He got robbed.
welcome everyone. Welcome.
And we have and our other co-host here. We haven't seen him like in 6 months. He's been in sleeping slumber.
Whoa, that's not true. I had a video in my car. We did two. We did two in my car. That counts for something.
Sure.
So,
A for effort.
So we start off. It's we didn't start with the featherweights, right? We started off with Tankman versus Matt Cross.
Holidead.
Well, technically, Kruger and Kwon jumped Holly at the beginning, and then it segued into Nicole from saying right, Savoy. So that's how you say about
Savoy,
Savoy?
yep.
Versus holidead
Holidead.
with Nightingale at commentary.
Okay, so listen, stop trying to throw. I have enough of this Contra Unit hate with Evil Once. So we don't know if EJ and Daku started the situation backstage and these guys defended themselves. Okay, because EJ and Daku has
Wait, that was nowhere. That didn't even happen yet. Where are you at? This was the beginning of the show.
That was last week.
And
That was last week, though.
Holiday got stomped out.
Oh, that's right. No, because they did brawl later on.
Well, yeah. You guys what are you guys doing right now? Jesus.
Hey, it's him. Don't look at me.
You got one who told the main event and what happened. You got the other one talking about what happened during the main event. This is horrible.
got robbed. That's what I have to say.
He's thrown my game off so much with pretty much ending the podcast 20 seconds into it. Listen, Richard Holiday did get beat up. You know what, though? He had that coming. Because when, the Fatu fight was going to happen with Hammerstone, what happened? They set up a Contra unit on like a sting operation, and they jumped Contra unit. You know what happens? If you jump me, we jump you. It's an eye for an eye. We in this together.
That look more like a Hellfist set that up. And Hellfist set that up. That wasn't Richard Holiday.
Oh, we don't know that for sure.
Listen.
Oh, he locked the door behind them. That was a Hellfist all
that
around.
was to make sure that the inmates were not going to run the asylum. That was the most hyped match in MLW history. He had to do what he had to do.
So we see Richard Holiday get stomped out. I'm a fan of the rarefied air. I am. I'm a big, I love Richard Holiday. We all do. But I'm a Contra guy. Did he have that coming? He did. He put his nose in the place.
Hell no. Hell no.
Please elaborate on hell no.
Hell no. That's my elaboration right there. Hell to the no. He did not have that coming. Contra unit are a bunch of bullies. That's what Contra unit is. Starting with the head bully himself, Josef Samael.
Whoa!
My arch nemesis himself, Josef Samael.
You know what? That blast
head bully in charge.
You know what, Vink? Please, what did you think of Richard Holiday? Listen, this was an eye for an eye. You do something, I come back.
No, I think this was honestly, I think, and you're not gonna like this, Evil Lindsay, but I do think it was fair. I mean, you got to understand too, from Contra's perspective, they just lost the World Heavyweight Championship, and the biggest fight of all time. Whether you like it or not, Fatu was down for the 3 count, 1, 2, 3. Hammerstone now is the world champion. Then you've also got to think about this from a strategical standpoint. You're going into the war chamber, right? It's Kwon, Kruger, Samael, and Fatu. Right now, the world heavyweight champion is on one leg. And Daku is a big threat, whether you want to admit it or not. And then if you happen to break down the third man that they have right now, which would be Richard Holiday, you're setting yourself up for victory, and systematically you're already taking them out. They're weak. They're not going in 100%. This was a very smart move on Contra's part. Unfortunately for Holiday, well, he did have it coming, because right now they can't beat up Hammerstone. Well, they could have, but at the time, wrong place, wrong time. It's unfortunate, but it happened.
And I'm with that. I agree with all of it. I think that throwing the label bully out there is an absolute atrocity, because there's no way he's a bully.
It's the art of war, good sir. It's the art of war.
So Josef Samuel is the head bully in charge of Contra unit.
He's the innovator. He's the innovator of sports terrorism. Put some respect on that name.
Whoa!
He's the innovator of bullies. That's what he is.
That's been a thing since before me and you were born.
So hold on. So we'll transition into Nicole Savoy versus holidead and what's his name, Dr. Oaks or something like that.
He did nothing. What was even the point of mentioning him?
Well, no.
First of all, he did something. He did something because he's from Rochester, New York, where I'm from right now, where I live my whole life.
You're saying he was born?
The home of the late Brody Lee, and also China are both from over here. So at least he's from a good place.
What did it have to do with the match?
Nothing, but I'm just wanting to throw that out. Make him look good.
So back to my point, he did nothing.
He's
Continue.
He's basically useless right now, but he's from my hometown, so yeah. I'll throw that out.
You know what it kind of reminded me, and I don't know if you guys are Walking Dead fans, but the guy who was part of the Whisperers, the big guy who barely talks, he has like crazy match. That mask kind of looked like that, so I was like, oh, that's fire. And then it kind of reminded me of Michonne how she came with the 2 walkers where she cut the thing off. So I was like, all right, holidead, I really dig this intro because this looks super cool. I thought both women, listen, Nicole Savoy looked amazing. I didn't know I didn't know much of her work. And the sample that we've seen already, and I'm hoping the injury is nothing crazy. You know, God bless. I hope everything is okay. But I know what holidead brings. I'm super high on her because we know her level of expertise and what she'll bring to the featherweight division. Nicole Savoy, she kind of reminded me like a basketball player. I don't know why. Maybe it's her ring gear, but her frame is, she's not a big girl, but she looks super strong too. Like she was doing like strong moves, and I was like, whoa, I like this girl. Unfortunately, we see an injury, even though she gets the W. We're hoping that everything's okay. Gentlemen, please break it down a whole lot more than I just ruined it.
Nicole Savoy reminds me of the girl Hoops from the flavor of the flavor of love with the guy with the big clock from the Public Enemy. Flavor Flav. That's why the gear that she wears reminds me of Hoops. Now, when she came out, I was excited when Nicole came out. I went at her, she stopped, and she went like this and went back at me. I was like, oh my God, she went at me. Ah! And that was one person that I really wanted to meet at the show. Unfortunately, the injury happened. But what I love about MLW and what they're doing is they're putting the females featherweight forefront. They're giving them a platform to really wrestle. And we're not getting your Uncle Vince 2-minute and 50-second match. We're getting close to 10 minutes per match, every female match. So they're building their characters. You can see who is the leader inside the ring, who's actually green, who's actually the expert. You can see all this stuff coming in when they have those matches because you're actually seeing them actually wrestle. It's not just something like that and they're gone. You actually these girls out there sweating their asses off, doing their moves and showing us like, okay, we belong here and we're here for the long run. So, hope a speedy recovery to Nicole Savoy and holidead. She did her shit. But Nicole Savoy got the win, and I'm happy about that. And then the beatdown afterwards, the big joy of smiles. Widow Nightingale got stumped at the end there, and what she, like you said, she putting her nose where it don't belong. So,
you know what? And before you go into a Bill Bank, hold on. Before you go into it, I wanted Willow Nightingale with MLW when we did our open mock draft. It's one of the names I threw out there. But if you look at...
Who had her name? Who had her name?
I did.
Who picked? You did? Okay.
So if you look at what we've been seeing for the last few weeks, Willow Nightingale has been performing everywhere. So at this point, I kind of want my MLW girls to be my MLW girls. I don't want to see them everywhere. When I seen holidead stop her route, I was like, I wanted Willow Nightingale, but because she's everywhere, and this sounds kind of crazy, in a way I was very excited that an MLW girl stomped out a girl who's working everywhere because this is our fucking house, and you better put some respect on it.
Well, the problem is that you're wrong right now because holidead also does stuff for Ring of Honor. And if you saw the match last week, they have holidead teaming with Widow Nightingale as a tag team up against another tag team there at the show last week at Ring of Honor. So everybody's, they're getting, you gotta get that money, gotta get that exposure. Go ahead, Bink.
I actually really enjoyed this match. I really was very impressed with Nicole Savoy. I love the fact she's a suplex machine. Go figure. I kind of have like, a preference with people who suplex. If you look at Alex Kane, if you look at her, go figure. This match to me was extremely technical. I really, really enjoyed that. I feel, oh man, I can't stress enough how awesome technical wrestling really is. That's like the knit and grit of pro wrestling. I think is always forgotten. I was very impressed with holidead. I'm actually not too familiar with her work, if I'm being honest with you. So it was nice to see what she brought to the table. And I did kind of agree with Chef on seeing, MLW girls that should be MLW is not necessarily performing everywhere. I get what he was saying on that one. I also agree with you as well, because it's pro wrestling. People are going to show up anyway, especially now with partnerships happening. It's not surprising to see that. And what happened to Will Nightingale, I think everyone enjoyed that. So I'll leave it at that.
So you know what?
Stump the smile out her face. Stop smiling. Stop smiling.
Vink, I don't know if you know, but here we call Court Bauer the key master, a.k.a. the gatekeeper, because he's making more moves and actually doing things than the other person who wants to call himself the forbidden door garbage. But so what do we have next? Because I am so all over the board, because I know it wasn't Tankman versus Matt Cross right after that. Was it Alicia 2? Oh, it was Alicia 2 interviewing the something Bud, the guy who got
not even close.
Yeah, Bud.
That was
Bud.
That's so far down this list.
Oh damn!
It was it was Richard Holiday being interviewed by Alicia Tao. It was his epic rarefied air pro, which I thought you'd like go all over that. So I'll give you the floor for this one, because I want to know your opinion on what you thought about the very epic rarefied air promo.
Oh, this is where she's like, "Are you allowed to wrestle? Like, you're hurt." And he did his thing. Listen, we've been saying this for so long that there is a serious love affair, and there's something going on in the air of MLW, because she's always in his tweets. She's always in his mess. Like in everything he says, she throws her 2 pennies in. She has got it bad. Listen, Whitney Houston was beautiful. She did her thing. Listen to the beautiful girl. She's doing her thing. We got Kevin Costner, a.k.a. the bodyguard, Richard Holiday, doing his thing. So, listen, she's worried about her babe. He's already saved her once, like Kevin Costner did Whitney. Cue the fucking music.
Now, what movie was that from?
The Bodyguard.
Exactly. Which means Richard Holiday, a.k.a. Kevin Costner, did his job as the bodyguard. Doesn't matter if he gets stumped, doesn't matter if he has 27 stitches on his back of his head, he's the bodyguard. He's going to go out there, put his body on the line for his belt, for the dynasty, for Alicia Atud, if there is actually a love affair being there or not. We're going to have to break the story soon, but he's the bodyguard. Kevin Costner, baby. The Kevin Costner of wrestling right here. Richard Holiday.
1,000%. And when she sees him, she starts singing, "And I will love
you." Hold on, is that from the movie?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Baby.
Yes,
right.
Whitney. Rest in peace.
I'm not sure what that was, but we're gonna move on.
Rendition of Wendy. That was what that was. Rendition of Whitney Houston.
Don't
be jealous.
Some respect on her name, sir.
Moving on.
Yes, sir.
The Opera Cup, round number 1. To recap what happens in the last match, it was Davey Richards versus Tom Lawler. Richard would go on to win that match. And then, so the second match, well, technically the first match of the Opera Cup for this week, but anyway, you guys get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Calvin Tankman versus Matt Cross.
Ooh. Good as match.
Man, I don't even know really where to begin, because I love the match from start to finish.
Wait. I just want to throw one thing out there, and then you guys can talk. I want to say, and I respect Calvin Tankman on another level. Here we love Calvin Tankman. I love the commentary that King Mo did. But that illegal elbow I shot to Matt Cross, not cool, Calvin Tankman. You took away from this match with the illegal shots. Yeah.
I've got something to counter that.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff on that one. I was mad about that.
But, as he walked away, he said, by any means necessary. And the Opera Cup is such a prestigious title that, you know what? If you have to win it by hook or by crook, it doesn't matter. You won the damn thing, and you make history. And that's what professional wrestling is all about, is making history and etching yourself in the history books. So for Calvin Tankman, any means necessary, I'm okay with that, especially when the man can admit it too.
Whoa.
Anyway, anyone can be a cheater, but to admit it, you got to have some balls. So I'll give credit to that.
I don't even know.
First of all, it's not a title that he's going to win. If he wins, it's a cup. Let's just make sure you get that right. It's the cup.
It's the
Cup.
prestige of the Opera Cup. If I said title, my bad.
Yeah.
Either way, it's
Whatever.
still the prestige of
It's a
the
cup,
Opera
not a
Cup.
title.
Can he get his
Two. He's too big of a monster to be cheating to win a match.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's all I have to say about that.
Sometimes someone might have your number, and if you can do something small that tips it in your favor, why not?
Oh, you're a horrible person.
Come on now. He weighs him like by over 100 pounds. He shouldn't have to do that to
And
beat
Matt Cross took him to his limit. Let's be honest. That was an amazing back and forth match.
Oh no!
And truthfully, until they bring it up, I didn't even see the eye poke. I did not see it. So I don't know if that's true.
I was there. I was there in person, and I saw that big ass out poke. I'm like, oh shit, he poked him in the eye. Even my nephew was saying, look, he poked him in the eye. I said, I know he cheated.
Well, the camera angle wasn't good enough for me to see it.
Yeah, but this is why we got foot on the ground. We got people there.
I think that this is an alleged eye poke. There was no replay. There was no replay for me to see. So therefore, it doesn't matter who says who. If I cannot identify the eye poke, it's not. It wasn't
my 15-year-old nephew can see that and tells me, look, Theo, he just poked him in the eye, dude. Like
he could be a Matt Cross fan. You wouldn't know that.
It's the first time you ever seen any of those guys.
Hey, that's all it takes. All it takes is one time.
Let me say
asking
this.
me who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Saying this match, both of them are pretty good guys.
To segue. What is the current thing that they're kind of like leaning towards for Calvin Tankman? If any of you guys remember what happened last week.
Yeah, with King. Yeah,
and what is American Top
so
Team only? What does American Top Team only do?
Now I got a question, and I think. Wait. I got a question for you guys because I noticed it recently. If you look at Alex Kane, I think it's his elbow pad has that 3B thing. If you look at Calvin Tankman, his knee pad has the same 3B logo. I don't know what's up with that, but I was like, I picked up on it. And I think King Mo was right. If you stuck him with Alex Kane and King Mo, he doesn't get pushed to the limits. We got nothing but love for Calvin Tankman. We call him the Maserati Tank. That's what we call him here. So the guy he's super athletic. He does what he does, but he got pushed to the limits against Lee Moriarty, who killed it. Matt Cross killed it. So did Tankman, obviously. But Calvin Tankman, if he's with those boys, Calvin Tankman's not being pushed to the limit. I think he needs to join up because he's missing something in his arsenal, and they'll set that shit straight.
I think he's finally starting to tap into that. It's taking those aggressive shots. It's taking those type of steps. So personally, I think he's really on his way to being a heel, and that's what that kind of was a teaser for. So that's why I'm completely okay. I think storyline wise, it makes perfect sense to me. I still didn't see the shot that you guys talked about, but I think storyline wise, if it did happen, storyline wise, I think it makes complete sense.
You were half asleep. You were half asleep, anyways.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what? What do we got next? Yeah.
Next was Elisa a tout. I don't care. With a toot. With Bud Heavy. I think his last name Heavy.
Bud.
That's Bud. What's the respect on Bud's name?
His last name is Heavy though, right?
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah. Okay. And he was backstage, and it got interrupted because the Azteca guy wanted to escort Elisa to.
I want to know if that guy's ever going to have a name, or he's just a masked guy. Like,
I'm gonna call him the Azteca guy.
Yeah, hold on. First, I had somebody slide into the DM to not put it on our channel, and they asked, "Yo, I seen a picture of Jorge, aka Evil Once, with the luchador mask. Is he now Azteca Once, or are we still keeping the Evil Once because they think that he might be part of the Azteca group because he's there?" And there's a picture with him with a mask that people are curious if he knows something with El Jefe is going on.
I don't know, man. All I know is like I'm moving to MLW, and
He's
I
hiding
might be
something.
joining a new. Yeah,
He started to stutter real quick.
Yeah, I might be joining a new crew in the future. We don't know. I'm still teaming this, but Azteca Underground has a lot of benefits.
See, how would he know that? How would he know that? See, that needs to be a full interrogation right there. That could be the next podcast. You got to interrogate this man. You've got to do some investigative journalism, just like a toot, something like that.
A toot.
That name. I'm
call
sorry.
her Alicia. Let's call her Alicia A. Yeah, Alicia A.
Alicia A. She gets summoned for.
Yeah, Alicia A. Like an R&B star. Alicia A.
Listen, she gets sent for because that's what happened. And if anybody knows the mom, you know what? You're going to say she didn't get sent for? That dude walked over, mumbled in her ears, and she knew what place to leave.
What?
Yeah.
That's kind of harsh.
Sure. Yeah, tell that to Trey Miguel. Yeah, tell that to Trey Miguel.
So he would get sent for too.
Whatever.
What? Okay.
That's her boyfriend.
Yeah, Trey Miguel's a real dude.
Again, for like the third time in the last year.
Whoa.
Hey,
listen, we ain't no relationship therapist place. So Alicia too gets sent for by El Jefe.
Call me in like 8 years.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. If you're awake.
That's like college degrees going to come in handy.
Next subject.
What's next, Pink?
Basically, Jacob Fatu and Jacob Fatu and Jesus Christ and Josef Samael are backstage. For some reason, the camera crew thought it was a good idea to try to sneak up on these people. I don't know why or what they were thinking. But basically, to sum it up really quickly, it was basically hyping up the War Chamber and how there's now plans to recapture the MLW World Heavyweight Championship. At least that's kind of what's in the pot in terms of Contra. And then they kind of chased out the camera guy, who that man was pretty quick for holding the camera. But your guys' thoughts on that? I thought the promo was great, actually.
Promo was amazing. My question to you is, are you finally going to say that you think Richard Holiday is going to turn his back at the War Chamber?
Never.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Never.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Dynasty forever.
Dynasties are meant to either be conquered or completely broken. So either way, look at all the dynasties. Look at all the dynasties. Let's look at that for a minute. They're meant to be broken or conquered. So, if you conquer the dynasty, you beat both of them up, you send them packing. But if you break it apart, what does Hammerstone have left? And don't say Nduka, because the Hammerstone don't know Nduka like that. That is the biggest. That is the biggest blow you can do. Is having that man put the dagger in Alexander Hammerstone.
Never.
I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Toot is the one that convinces good old Richard Holiday to do it. Because what better way? What better way? You know, we already see how what's his name, Duran has interacted with the Toot, and what better way to kind of threaten a Toot if they are dating, you know, then say, hey, do you guys remember the little old TNA Impact game back in 2000? I think it was 9 or 8. Do you remember the career mode where the guy gets stomped out after he won the title and sent to like Mexico?
Yeah.
What better way than to threaten him with something like that? And don't say Duran can't do it.
Jesus.
He can, because he has ties. Let's not forget AAA is a thing, and they still have a partnership with MLW.
So listen. Josef Samael killed it. The conspiracy is going wild with you and Richard Holiday. aka Kevin Costner, the bodyguard. Now, let's talk main event. All right. I really want to talk main event. I know we had Alicia too ringside, which we'll do a whole little thing about that because that was really cool. With
you forgot the interaction, or that will be for the other video.
Yeah, we'll talk the whole thing because that I think could be its own show because I think that's fascinating. How and people are forgetting who El Jefe is, and that's what I really want to touch on when we get there. Because if you're not a big fan of Lucha Underground and this guy, just came out of nowhere and you're like, oh, this guy's dope as shit, but why he talk like this? People need to stop, not listening to that man and disrespecting him when he talks. So what does he do? Like a straight up gangster, he makes her sit down and watch her guy fight one of the baddest dudes in the industry, King Muertes. That dude is a monster. The one thing I did not know about this was I didn't know that Richard Holiday was 6'3". I never paid attention, and I was like, whoa, this guy's actually pretty tall. Now, the weight difference of 300-something, 27 pounds versus like 235, you're like, okay, there's a huge size difference. Richard Holiday, to me, now, I'm a fan, Evil Onse's a fan of Richard Holiday. He'll be able to probably tell me if I'm wrong or right. I've seen Richard Holiday. I'm a fan for a reason because he entertains me, and I keep seeing him elevate his game. This match, to me, might be even though he lost, might be my favorite Richard Holiday match because he still had that rich guy thing about him when he was like, yo, hold up, please, hold on. But he kept taking it up a notch, and went toe-to-toe with the man of 1,000 deaths. And nobody at the end of this could say, oh, Richard Holiday didn't deserve to be that champ, or Richard Holiday doesn't deserve to be at that level. That man just showed the whole MLW world, I'm actually a fucking threat to be here, and any belt that I win is legit my shit. That's how high I took from Richard Holiday yesterday on a loss.
Hold up. So you're gonna stop there? You're not even gonna say what happened?
Oh, well, I was leaving up the thing for you because I know you were gonna eventually hate because the big homie Ikuro Kwon, he came in, laid the shot down at the very end, and I knew you were gonna say something, so I was gonna cut you off with that. Because Richard Holiday, listen, I don't think Richard Holiday was gonna win that match anyway.
Holiday had that match won.
How?
If it wasn't for outside interference, he had that match won.
I'm gonna interject here. So for those who don't know, this was for the Caribbean Championship. Just putting that out there.
The IWA Caribbean Championship, which is now an MLW belt, I guess at the moment. But listen, it's a Puerto Rican belt. Me and Evil Onse are very prideful of our islands. He's an island guy. I'm a New Yorican. There's a big difference, and I always want to make that abundantly clear. He's really from the island. I'm just a Puerto Rican from Queens. That belt means a whole lot more to him, but the fact that it's a Puerto Rican belt means a lot to us. Richard Holiday, yes. I held that belt, and he took a lot of, if you follow his social media, he was very prideful of that belt. He showed mad respect to that belt. I salute him for it. That match was an absolute banger last night. Ikuro Kwon did what he was supposed to do. Richard Holiday, you stuck your fucking nose in the wrong pot, and guess what? Now you get your shit rocked. Ikuro Kwon, baby, get it popping. Hail Contra. Woo!
That was like the worst Joseph Samael impersonation I ever heard in my life. That was horrendous, bro. Horrendous. Meaning Samael, what the hell was that? Lord have mercy. Anyways, if it wasn't for Kwon, meaning Kwon at that, but whatever, mini Kwon, if it wasn't for him sticking his nose in his business, Holiday should still be the champion. But it's all right, because at the War Chamber, Kwon is going to get his. Kwon will get his. His only time. And Duke already threw him flying once.
Wait,
he's going to get his.
I love how we're skipping so many different parts of this match.
Man.
All right. Anyway,
welcome to how we do things here, bro. Maybe if you stay awake for more than 5 minutes, you'll be here too.
Some people need their beauty sleep, okay?
Listen, we don't do the typical nerd shit that everybody wants to talk about, the 65 different moves. We talk the real shit. We say how it is. Working.
Yes, he got cheated.
Was we want you to watch the shit. If we sit here and break it down, why would you watch it?
Exactly.
That's fair, but you've completely forgot about Nduka getting into a fight with Kruger backstage and then getting his shit messed up by everyone.
I'm about to say it took a multiple bunch of people to mess with the doctor. That I'll give him. Listen, we keep seeing EJ just do his thing, like real shit. We see him. He's one of the most impressive people since day one he's been in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's real shit. That's not us trying to hype him up or kiss his ass. We don't do that here. But if you tell me right now the last person that you see in MLW come in and do what he did, like this, yo, and Daku was a beast. His debut was the Battle Riot. What, he told 12, 13 guys out of the ring? That's out of 40 people. Like, he almost took out half. Dolo. He lined himself up, and listen, I think it's a smart play. He sat there. If I'm going to be with Alexander Hammerstone, I'm going to put myself in a position. Look, now he's in the biggest match of the next pay-per-view, the next show. So he's in there. It's only a matter of time before he becomes the open weight champion.
Which I called that.
Well,
I called that on the Battle Riot show. I called that. That was my suggestion.
But hold on. But all of it is he's working that. Like, he didn't just come in here and get a belt. He's actually earning everything. Oh, yeah. Look who he's doing it against. The one group that everybody fears, and I don't care if anyone goes, oh, no one fears a Contra Unit. Everyone fears Contra Unit.
For 2 years, no one wanted to even be near them.
Everyone fears them. No, it's true. Everyone fears them. And EJ and Daku is going into their lair with no flashlight, with nobody else.
A deer in headlights.
Lair, head first, and he's trying to chop the head off the beast. And listen, he's playing a deadly game of chess. And we don't know what's going to happen, but I am so interested to see how does he continuously go against Contra Unit without them focusing on him, because the focus right now is on Alexander Hammerstone. They're just the other guys at the moment.
What if he's the guy who turns heel at the War Chamber?
No way. No way. There's no reason for it.
Not necessarily aligning with Contra Unit though.
No. Well, no, because Josef Samael picks who he wants.
True, but I'm saying, like, not even necessarily like aligning with Contra. I meant, like, what if he gets paid to do it?
Yeah, but then at that point, are you throwing him in the main title picture like that?
I mean, he's got the buzz for
it. You have King Muertes for that. That's El Jefe's main guy. How you gonna make a face? You saying that King Muertes can't be in a fight against EJ?
No, I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying he's now the IWA Caribbean champion. That's the full title.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know. I know it's definitely a wild one and probably like the farthest way out there, but I find it kind of interesting.
Wait, why can't Contra Unit win, or why can't the good guys pull out? Like if Contra Unit wins, you sit there and go, oh, that's because they're not 100%. They roughed up Richard Holiday. Alexander Hammerstone was hurt. You could say that. But if Alexander Hammerstone and EJ and Daku wind up being the last 2 versus 3 or 4, whatever it is, those two guys.
We also don't know who the fourth person is going to be.
I don't care who the fourth person is. The fourth person is going to be someone interesting. And I'm going to tell you, if it's a big-time free agent, like that we don't know, that'd be freaking nuts, because at that point you're like, holy shit. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is if Contra Unit is versus Alexander Hammerstone, who does the whole, I'm holding my leg on the outside, I'm hurt, and EJ and Daku takes out Contra Unit one by one, it lines up for him to look at Hammerstone like, yo, I want you next. Like, I just did that for you, and now I want my shot. He doesn't have to turn heel. He could just be super strong and take out Contra Unit.
I just feel that we're forgetting the third element to all of this, and that's the matchmaker. So at this point, if you're a friend of Hammerstone, you're obviously an enemy to Cesar Duran. So that's why I don't feel like that's possible. Even if he does great, I don't even think if Hammerstone would sit there and agree to that type of thing, right? I just don't see it happening for the sole reason of if you're a friend of Hammerstone, and I'll tell you why. It's because there was a certain key. There's a couple keywords that were said not this week, last week, and the meeting between Cesar Duran and Alexander Hammerstone. The keyword was "You're my champion." Hammerstone wasn't having any of that. So at this point, if you are a friend of Hammerstone, you are not on good. In my opinion, I don't think you're in the good books with Cesar Duran, and that also proved in the main event of this show.
Wait, I'm going to explain to you why I think you're wrong. It's a great value point why I think you're wrong, and then we'll transition out of here. When he pulled a chair for his champion, Alexander Hammerstone, he said, "I'm not sitting there," who he obviously just disrespected the man for getting him a chair. He then tried to do the good guy thing. I'll say, "Yo, I'll handpick your team and go against Contra Unit." He then spit in the hand that did it again. El Jefe, who we just seen twice over, when guys say, "I want a title shot," he fed them to the big dog titles. He fed him against Hammerstone. He fed him against Fatu. So what does he do?
Truthfully, there was a systematic thing to that. And I don't look at either of those as giving them what they wanted. If you think about it, Tom Lawler wanted a world heavyweight title shot against Jacob Fatu. By the way, the guy who Fatu beat for the MW world title was Tom Lawler. Those who don't remember.
Wait, but hold on. There's a difference of Tom Lawler right now, and there's a difference of Matt Cross right now to where Tom Lawler used to be. There's a big difference. But what happened to Richard Holiday? He comes in the office, and he got a smug-ass attitude, too, towards El Jefe. El Jefe's like, "Oh, you think you're going to walk in my spot and talk to me like this? Now I got to do what I got to do to you guys." But at the end of the day, he still protected his champion, and he made sure that his champion had a one-on-one versus Contra Unit that does not happen. He did that for Hammerstone. And Hammerstone wanted to slap.
He did that because he wanted to stick it to Contra.
So he did the best thing.
Contra is not good business for him, and he knows it. So if you take the power, you take the title off of him, you take the power that they have away from them that they've had for 2 years.
He did the best thing for the show, and Alexander Hammerstone
He did the best thing for himself and his brand. Personally, I really don't feel that Cesar Duran gives a shit about MLW fans. If you are not an Azteca fan, he don't give a shit. He's going to make all the power plays he needs to make his brand look best. But he's going to cover it up and tell you that, "Oh, yeah, this is for MLW fans." Bullshit.
Evil Once, what do you got to say about this madness we were talking about?
Hammerstone, Holiday, and Duca, and the fourth person will be the winners at War Chamber. That was it.
That's the most simple answer you're getting.
That's it.
Listen, so y'all already know what it is.
And I'll be there cheering for the good guys.
It's hiphopbling.com. Make sure you throw our promo code UWN, and we'll get our shit popping. And you get that discount. You look fresh like the chef. And it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, for myself, Bill Vic, Evil Once, maybe a.k.a. Azteca Once, we don't know yet. Ladies and gentlemen, deuces.